and welcome to Strangers from KCW and Radiotopia. I'm Leah Tao, and today we're going to check in with an old friend. Well, I've come to think of her as a friend because the people we feature on this show, they stay with me, and I think this young woman in particular has stayed with you too, because I get so many emails from you asking me about her. We left her in a place of uncertainty, so I thought it was time to go see how she's doing. Her name is Jenni Rao, and the original episode was called Life Interrupted. If you've never heard it, maybe you want to press pause and go check it out. It's from March 2014, exactly 1 year ago. But for those of you who don't want to go listen or who can't remember the details of her story, let me catch you up a bit. So Jenni had first contacted me to say, I have a story about seeing a stranger every time I look in the mirror.
I feel like that most mornings. It's like the time that I've been asleep has been enough to kind of reset my memory. So it's almost this Groundhog Day effect of waking up and realizing what's going on.
What was going on was that Jenni, who was just 31, had had cancer of the salivary gland, and to remove the cancer she'd had some surgeries which had severed the facial nerves on the right side of her face and paralyzed it. And Jenni and I started working on a story about what it's like to be 31 and trying to get your life together and figure out dating and coping with it all when only half your face is working and you're recovering from cancer and living with your parents. And then, as we were working on that story, Jenni's cancer came back. I went with her to check her into the Cancer Treatment Centers of America in Noonan, Georgia, for a new round of treatments. And despite the grim circumstances, Jenni was in good spirits. We had some moments of levity, like when I was trying to help Jenni with her luggage cart.
You know what? I hit a corner. We're going to have to, because on the carpet. Having too much fun.
But the fun didn't last long.
It's the night before treatment, not the night before Christmas. I am scheduled to begin radiation and chemo, as well as hyperthermia treatments to treat what is a very aggressive, potentially deadly cancer. And every time it comes back, your chances of survival go down by about 25% each time. The doctors have started saying things like, we want to save your life. We can't make any guarantees, but we're going to try. So that's definitely different from people saying, oh, you're young, you'll be fine. This is just a precaution. We're not really there anymore. There's that part of you that thinks, you know what? That's still 25 to 30% survival rate. It's not as good as 70 to 75%. It's like, yeah, obviously now the odds are against me, but there are still odds. I'm still fighting the fight.
Jenni's treatments lasted almost 2 months, and they were awful. But she got through them, and she entered a waiting game, as cancer patients do. And that's where we left her last year, to an uncertain future. So it's no wonder that you've been writing to me about her, and I decided it was time to check in.
After we did our initial interview, I ended treatments in May of 2014. I went home for a few months, came back in July to do follow-up scans, and everything was clear, so that was really good news. And by October, they confirmed that it was back. And it has metastasized from the right to the left side. I had another surgery to remove a few tumors, and I just started this past Monday chemo, radiation, and hyperthermia.
So here we are again.
Yes, so we're at the Cancer Treatment Centers of America.
And what was your state of mind when you heard that?
was completely aware that it had come back because there are these really random, sharp, like stabbing nerve pains that I have, and I've now equated that with cancer activity. So anytime I feel those, I trust my gut, I call a doctor, and I'm like, let's take a look. Even if the doctors say that it's nothing, and I've been right every time because I had an MRI. It actually did not show anything. The MRI showed everything was fine. And I urged them to do a PET scan, and that is what showed the metastasis. Of course, I wish that I didn't experience it, but I was just really glad to have learned the lesson. Like, keep pressing until you are satisfied, regardless of what the doctors say, because they don't always know everything. But between the time that they had discovered the tumor and actually performed the surgery to go in there, they discovered that it was in some lymph nodes. That is not a very good thing. We do not want cancer in lymph nodes. That is when there's a lot of danger and it's spreading to your blood, through your lungs possibly. Mucoepidermoid carcinoma likes to go to the lungs.
And that's what you have?
That is what I have.
Oh, my God.
I'm sure this is not an easy interview to listen to, and it was a sad and difficult interview to do. But obviously whatever pain and sorrow we feel about Jenni's situation, it's nothing against how hard it is for her to be living that reality. She's still just 32. Her odds, even with treatment, are uncertain, and the treatments themselves are god-awful.
I had some questions, actually. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do treatments again. I had some thoughts about the quality of life that I want. Going through the radiation and the chemo and having the lasting, permanent side effects of that, I just didn't know if it was worth it. Dr. Thompson is my medical oncologist, and she told me, if you were my daughter, I would tell you to do it.
The treatment.
The treatment. She's like, if you were my daughter, I would tell you to go through with treatment.
And she, in fact, lost a child to cancer herself. I think we talked about
Yes.
the last time I was here, right?
Yeah, Dr. Thompson had a young son that passed away from cancer, and she was an oncologist at the time, so I can only imagine how that feels, and she definitely comes from a very personal place of reference in dealing with her patients, and she has told me, that I remind her of her son, and he had a very good attitude about everything, and so she really has told me she admires that about me. So I decided to go through treatments again, just hoping maybe this will be it. Maybe this will stop it. So I guess my decision was just based purely on hope.
What brings you relief, or are there things that help you get through it?
I'm still listening to a lot of music.
What are you into right now?
I've been listening to a band called Geographer a lot. A lot of My Brightest Diamond, Gardens and Via, some Hozier, of course Snowmine. I love them. And I actually have not been listening to that Elbow song nearly as much.
Why do you think?
Before I share Jenni's answer with you, let me explain what Jenni means by that elbow song. I'm going to play a scene from the original episode where Jenni and I were driving to dinner, and she put on some music, as she almost always does.
I kind of want to go to Outback.
Okay. Whatever you want. You're the one who's studying all these treatments tomorrow.
Yeah.
I leaned on you today. I regularly heard but never say.
I totally relate to those lyrics. I regularly hurt but never say.
What does it mean to you, this song?
I guess just having that person that doesn't make you have to explain, because they can look at you and see that you're hurting, that this situation is a desperate one.
Do you have someone like that?
I think at times different people kind of take that on, but not consistently, no. Let's see. We made it!
And on that note, we went to dinner. But you can see why I wondered what it meant that Jenni was listening less to that song. Was it just because she'd found other songs as we do? Or did she somehow relate less now to those lyrics? I regularly hurt, but never say.
I've just gotten to the point now where I cry if I feel like it. So that same source of kind of suffering and turmoil, I don't feel it nearly to the same degree. I've been a lot more selfish, and not in a bad way, but just really thinking that I'm worth standing up for myself, or worth saying this is what I need, and worth taking, not worrying about how embarrassed someone's going to feel if I just break down crying. The last time that we met, a year ago, I was still in a mourning process, and I still am. I don't know when that will ever end, to be honest. I mourn the way I used to look. I mourn the way how easy things used to be, how my life was without cancer. So I think when we first met, I was just really sitting in that. Now I am in a place where I accept that this is happening, and the mourning is no longer from dusk till dawn. Now I'm sad times during the day, and it gets really hard to continue to be here in this cancer treatment center, and I know that I'll be 33 this year and it's still happening. It's been 5 years, and that really does suck, there's no way around that, but the only thing that I can do is just try to be the best person that I can be under the circumstances. And of course, spending time with friends and family, that's always good.
But you're alone down here at the hospital most of the time, or?
I am. I choose to be here at the hospital by myself. I like it. I don't have to talk about everything that happens every day if I don't feel like it. If I had someone here, I don't know, I think I just feel like I had to entertain them, or that I had to assure them that everything's okay, as opposed to just coming into my room and falling down face flat on the bed and just laying there. I don't want someone coming in and going, "Are you okay?" It's just easier to just worry about myself. It's been amazing to receive the feedback after taping that first show, and people telling me that I was inspiring them in some way. And even some people just really like my taste in music. That was awesome too. I really love that. So it's been amazing, even now a year later, to continue hearing from people, even people here in the hospital. There's actually one of the radiation techs, her mother happened to hear the story on the radio. I think her mom lives in Virginia or something. And she called her and said, "Oh my goodness, there's a girl, and she's at the Cancer Treatment Centers of America, and I heard her story, and I really loved it." And she says, "Mom, I know her." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cool." So you realize, that the world is both big and small at the same time.
What are the things that you most want? for yourself when you're done with yet another round now in 6 weeks or something?
I would love to recover some semblance of adulthood in terms of living independently. Getting my own place, having my own space consistently would do a lot, I think, for my just mental stability, but also for my confidence. I mean, when I was, 15, 18, 20, and thought about what I would be doing when I was 32 and 33, living at home was not one of those things.
For very few people, I think it is, yeah.
Also, it's just I can't afford to be anywhere else.
You do get a little disability, but how much, wouldn't be enough?
Most of my disability, I would say roughly half of it goes to my medical insurance payment. And then another portion of it is for student loans. So after all of my bills, I have roughly $100 left from disability to try to pay for anything else that I need that isn't a bill. So that's groceries or gas or just toiletries, anything comes out of that $100
a month.
A month. A lot of people tend to think they're owed something if they eat right, or if they exercise, or if they're genuinely good people, or if they're generous, that life will be kind to them, or that they'll get to pass away in their sleep peacefully, and that's not the way life happens, unfortunately. So there should always, I think for everyone, you should know how lucky you are at all times.
Yes, Jenny. Yes, we should. And thank you for the reminder. So many times in the last year when I've been upset or worried about something small, I've thought to myself, but remember what Jenny is going through. Count your blessings, Leah. Cut the bullshit. But then it's like I forget, and I start the bullshit machine all over. I spend way too much time and energy worrying about stuff. Worrying about work when I'm with my son, missing my son when I'm traveling for work, and other things that are so fucking silly and small that I'm embarrassed to even tell you. Like, do my friends think I'm an idiot because I didn't know that book they were all talking about? Did I seem insensitive when I tried to console Lisa about losing her job and meant to say the right thing but probably said the wrong thing? Will I be crushed under the weight of my inbox, which has 47,378 emails in it? That's no joke, by the way. That's the actual number. I gave up on sorting it last year, but that's not the point. The point is that it's so dumb and self-centered to worry so much when there are people like Jenny who have real problems. And we could all be one of those people any day. It's such a cliche to say that life is too short, but you know what? Life's too fucking short. So I am going to cut it out. Right now. I actually think it's possible. I'm not totally sure. But don't you think we can sometimes just make a decision and draw a line and say enough with that? It stops here. I mean, maybe all I need to do is spend 5 minutes twice a day thinking about Jenny and really try to imagine what it's like to be attacked by toxic chemicals every day, to have lost half your jawbone, all movement on the right side of your face, and to be 32 and not know if you'll live to see another year. And then to take some deep breaths and send Jenny some love. I'm going to do that for 5 minutes, twice a day, at 9:30 a.m. and 5:15 p.m. Pacific time. That's my pledge. If you relate at all, maybe you'll join me. And maybe all those thoughts will send Jenny some good and healing vibes. If you want to reach out to her directly, she has a Facebook page called Beat Cancer with Jenny. That's Beat Cancer with Jenni, Jenni. And she also has a blog. And you can find the link at kcrw.com/strangers. When Jenni said that hearing from all of you had made her realize that the world was both big and small at the same time, I was very struck by that. Whenever I'm asked why I do this show or why stories matter, I say exactly that. Hearing other people's stories makes us realize that there are many, many different ways to live, and that makes the world big. And yet those same stories can make us feel connected across all those divides, and that makes the world feel small. And I think storytelling, more than any other art form, has the power to shrink and expand the universe at the same time, like that. That's the hope, anyway. And it was nice to see that Jenni had organically felt that, hearing from all of you. It was late January when I went to see Jenni, and she's just finished her treatments and is now back in the waiting game. She'll have an MRI in 3 months and a PET scan in 4.5 months. So that's where it stands. Keep her in your thoughts. I'll post updates on our Facebook page at facebook.com/strangersknomore.org. So Life on Record has set up a voicemail line where you guys can call in and leave messages for your loved ones, and then I'll play some of them on the show. Here's one we just received from a woman also named Jenni.
Hi, my name is Jenni. On February 16th, my mom had a massive stroke, and she can't read, but she can hear. And we do listen to the Strangers podcast. So, Mom, this message is for you. I just want to tell you how proud I am of you. You are doing so awesome in fighting this and getting back to where we need to be. And every day you get stronger and stronger, and I have never been so proud of you in my whole entire life. So I just wanted to let you know I love you. I'm so grateful that we've been given another chance at life.
Yet another reminder that we never know what happens tomorrow. So let's enjoy today. Thank you for that, Jenni. May your mother be blessed with better times ahead. If you want to leave a message for a loved one, perhaps for their birthday or some other occasion, or if you want to leave a message for Jenni Rao to wish her well through her cancer battle, call 800-598-2257. That's 800-598-2257. And some of you have emailed to ask what you do if you're not in the U.S., because 800 numbers only work in the U.S. And you can use the recording function on my website at storycentral.org. Just go to storycentral.org and look for the record button. And hey guys, we're doing an audience survey. Would you take it? You can win some awesome headphones, and it would be great because we want to know more about you. Go to surveynerds.com/strangers. Yes, that's their actual name, surveynerds.com/strangers. We are a founding member of Radiotopia, and we've just added 4 fantastic new shows. And one of them is The Illusionist by Helen Zaltzman, who's so witty and wonderful that I kind of want to be her when I grow up. Although I'm pretty certain I'm older than her, so much for that, I guess. Anyway, she has a new episode out about museums.
You sort of watch visitors move through exhibitions and look at what it is that where they go and what they look at and how long they spend in a place.
We're being spied on when we're in a museum.
Yes.
Oh, great.
If you think you're being followed, you quite possibly are.
Check out The Illusionist at radiotopia.fm. That's illusionist with an A, because the show is all about words, so the title is a wordplay. Get it? And thanks to everyone who voted for Strangers in the public radio version of March Madness and sent us to the finals. I can't believe it, but there you have it. And it's all because of your phenomenal dedication and support. We beat out much bigger shows with millions of listeners and 10 times the followers on Facebook that we have, because what we lack in numbers, we make up for in community and love. We are a family. We are strangers no more. It's the theory in action, and that is far more important than winning any contests. The way you came out to vote, I'm just humbled and deeply, deeply grateful for you. Right now in the contest, we're facing the show 99% Invisible by Roman Mars, the founder of Radiotopia, my mentor and big brother radio-wise. And as I'm recording this, that round has just started. But by the time the episode reaches you in a couple of days, the round will be ending soon, and I'm sure our asses are getting whooped by Roman. And you know what? That's okay, because I love him, and there's no one I'd rather lose to. But if you like this show and you want to say so, go give strangers a vote. Help us make a respectable showing. Search for Public Radio March Madness, or look for the link on our Facebook page. This episode was produced by myself and Paul Drew Smith, and it was mixed by J.C. Swaddock. Our assistant producer is Laura Featherstonehaar. My editorial sounding boards are Kristen Carty and Louisa Beck, and my bosses are all of you. Thanks for keeping me employed. And I do read all your emails, and I'm sorry I'm slow to respond, but I read every one, and I love them. KCRW is my partner, and they rock. And thanks to Casper for sponsoring this show and for sending me a mattress. It's been more than 100 days now, and I'm still a happy owner and a happy sleeper, and I'm quite possibly a better person thanks to Casper. So get yours at casper.com/strangers. Thanks to MailChimp for supporting the podcast revolution, and to the Lucius and Eva Eastman Fund, the Annenberg Foundation, the Goldhirsch Foundation, and the Roth Family Foundation. I'm Leah Tao. Until next time, worry less and keep Jenni in your thoughts. And don't be strangers. Oh, and by the way, the song you're hearing right now is by one of Jenni's favorite bands, Geographer.